Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm gonna do this live streaming coding again because it was kind of fun. And probably, hang on, doing the wrong mic. Nope, this is the right mic. Okay. Okay. So last night I got this basic HTML form built out, and then ran into some Vue build tool issues. But tonight I've got those figured out, and so now I can move forward with making this form work. So last night we got jQuery payment added so that this credit card validates the number, and it adds little spaces, and it doesn't let me type in dumb things like letters or more than 16 characters based on the card type. And then I can hit pay now, but right now if I hit pay now, it just refreshes the page. So not super ideal, but it's okay. Let me just update the title of this. I think so. One of the last things I did last night was actually move everything from living in. Right now we have single product. It was inside here, but now I have this adoption form view component, and I can render the view component itself, and all of my HTML is in here. So right now it's not really doing anything. On the view mounted callback, I'm firing off the jQuery stuff to make that work with the credit card formatter. But essentially my next step is going to be capturing this form data and doing something with it. So I think maybe something we could do is capture all these fields and then maybe console log it out on submit. So maybe one of the easiest things we could do then is to match the data model that's expected for this form. So we have, and if we look at the form here, we have three things. We have a type, we have quantity, and we have a CC number. Now, yeah, CC number. So that's fine. So we can return maybe a form data object with each of these things. So type is just going to be kind of a blank string for now. Quantity is 1, and CC number is nil, or a blank string also. We'll see how this works. I'm not totally sure yet. And we also need to return this. This is actually something you have to return, an object. Okay, so hit save. Shouldn't see any build errors. Good. And then moving forward, we have Vue model bindings that we can add. So we can do a v model equals form data dot type, and just copy this to the quantity one, and we'll say v model equals form data dot quantity, and then finally v model equals form data dot cc number. All right, let's see how that looks. I'll just manually refresh here. Okay, so the type obviously went away. The quantity is still 1. There's not really a type default here, so one thing I could do here is pull in all the possible types as data options like props into this component, and then select the first one in that list. So I could do that, but for now I'm not going to. We'll deal with that later. And then credit card number still works. Cool. And so on pay now, so you either on click or on the form submit action, we want to collect this in a method and then do something with it. For now, we'll just console log it out. The way to go about this, let's see if there's a Vue.js instructions for submitting a form. Let me see. Form input bindings. Maybe try this. So I don't see anything that relates to the entire form tag. So maybe we just need to count on, no, there might be an event handling for like submit. So it could do v on submit, and then just console.log out all the stuff. So let's try that. We'll do v on equals submit, or v on colon submit equals, let's say, just call it a handle, and then we'll add a method below here. Methods, and we'll say mounted or handle. And then we will just console.log out our form data. Let's try that. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to select adult dog puppy, put in a credit card number, and hit pay now. It didn't do anything. It actually refreshed the page. So it may have actually worked, but we're not preventing anything from stopping the submit action. So if we do e.prevent default, maybe that will be the ticket. Try this again. Okay, form data is not defined. Okay, so because I need to type in this dot form data. So let's try that one more time here. And I can even hit enter. So now I'm getting an object observer that it's passing through, and I'm getting the CC number, which is a getter, and same with quantity and type. So I think that's sort of close to what we want. It doesn't seem like something you'd want to pass back to like an AJAX request. Maybe you need to be more explicit about each item of the form data. So we can try that. Let's just try. Let's see. We'll do let data. We'll do let. How about this? No? Okay. I'm going to try a destructuring thing that I'm not really sure how it's going to work. Let's try CC number, type, and quantity equals this dot form data. And then we'll console log those three things. Cool. So that is kind of ready to send back to like the back end. Trying to think of other things that could go wrong at this point. Various credit card validations. Obviously, sending a credit card back to the server is a scary bad thing. That's why I wish we were using Stripe. But this, I'll have to do some research on authorize.net and see if they have any solutions for this sort of stuff. Otherwise, we will trust that they handle their payment processing okay through their official WooCommerce add-on, and that we have some security procedures in place. Furthermore, we're going to need to add some sort of area for error handling. That'll probably just be an error message at the top of the component that we'll fill out. I bet this jQuery credit card stuff has an error handler, so maybe we can catch that and fill out an error message if the credit card isn't complete. Maybe let's try that and see. Let's do a search for jQuery.card just to find the docs on this. What was this called? Oh, jQuery.payment. And we have supported card types. Okay, so here's valid, payment validate card number, and then the value. So what we can do is plop this into a validate function. We can do methods validate card, and man, that pasted weird. if so maybe we'll just return this. Return jQuery payment, validate card number, and then we'll just go ahead and pass in this .form data.cc number. So that, because that will return false. So first step is collect data, validate client side, and then post to server. And what we're working on is the second part right now. And so we can run this. We can maybe do a check for if not this dot validate card, then we'll handle an error here. So maybe we'll do we'll return so it never gets to the post, but we can say console dot error. You must pass a valid card number, credit card number. And then if we save and we hop back in here, I'll do just random digits and then hit payment. And so I'm getting that error, you must pass a valid credit card number. So obviously the user's not going to look in the console, but they might see an error up at the top of the screen, or even better, like right next to the card. I'm not going to go into the detail of attaching a specific area to an element right now, but let's just add like a generic catch-all error field up here. If we put it maybe at the top of the form, that would be ideal before the columns begin. And let's check out Bulma for this. This is the framework I'm using. Let's see if they have like a message component that we can borrow. Let's see, components, message, not really what we want. We want something without the title bar. Card is too much. What about elements? Button, content, form, notification. There we go. So we want an erroneous notification. So we can do notification is danger, and then the delete button would theoretically delete that. So let's pop that in and just stick it up at the top for now, even though it's obviously not ready to be used. And then we can maybe print out error message and see how that looks. Cool. And then the button is actually triggering a form submit. So this is something that I could actually build out into a separate component, but maybe not right now. For now, we'll start with the basics. Let's pass in a valid error message. And if we refresh, we'll get an error in the console because error message is not defined yet, so we need to add that to our data. There's no error message. And if we refresh, it still renders. We don't want it to render unless there's an error. So if we add a vif statement, we can only render it if something is truthy. So vif equals error message dot, well, you could just do error message because it'll return falsy if there's nothing in there. And so once that is ready, we can go ahead and set this to the error message, our actual error, instead of logging it out in the console. We can do this dot error message equals that and then return. So let's try that. I'm going to pass in a dumb credit card number. You must pass a valid credit card number. Cool, that's nice. The button still tries to submit, which is not great. So I'm going to go ahead and add a click handler for this button. I'll do @click equals error message is just empty. And let's see if that does the trick. It's kind of an inline hack. Error message, close out of the error message. Got it. Error message is back. Close it. Sweet. So we've added an error message. We've got our data somewhat validated. This fee type thing is kind of bugging me. So we should maybe pass in the possible fee types. If we go back to the live adoption form, we can, or actually we can just Oh yeah, because it's a gravity form right now. It doesn't seem like the best option. This probably needs to be more of like a WooCommerce variable product. But let's check out the. Hang on, I have this other window. We have adult dog puppy, senior dog, 8 years and over, pre-adoption puppy, with some stuff not to be paid without prior approval, and then puppy hold balance. I don't really know what those things mean, and should probably also add this warning. I'm just going to copy that in right now. Let's add this as a fun little reminder before the pay button. Cool. So we want those types. Let's just copy this whole darn thing. And eventually we're going to want this to be similar in here. No, that didn't copy. Copy element, maybe? There we go. For each of these options, we want to pass this through as possible options. I'm just going to delete that, what I just added, and then let's pass through our type options as a property. So let's create a kind of placeholder variable. We'll do type options is just an array right now. And then it maybe is going to need to be an object eventually. Let's just do object. And then from the top of our component, we'll want to define props. I think this actually changed in Vue recently where you don't have to define props, but we will anyway to be explicit. We'll do type options as a prop. And it might matter what camel casing I use or whatever. But let's just try it this way. So we'll do type. And then I think it is dashed here, type options equals, and then we'll send in this JSON blob. So we convert this to we'll make this into a PHP array. So we'll do types equals this, and then pop it in like that. Add some apostrophes, and then let's see if we can't do like types, but we need to encode that as JSON. So is it JSON encode types? Maybe. Let's see if this works. Refresh. View warn type options is already declared as a prop. Okay, there we go. I can't declare it as a data property if it's a past explicit property. And so let's refresh. Nothing's terribly broken. Let's pop into our view, our page source, and let's see if we have type options. Oh, there we go. Undefined variable types. How lovely. I just defined it up here. Maybe I need a full PHP tag. Okay, so it's passing in an array, straight array. What if I need to do like, we'll do option 0, 1, since I assume this will need to be coming from the back end with like specific identifiers. 0, 1, 2, and 3 if it makes it into a JSON object instead of an array. Nope. Huh. This is fun stuff. We're just learning as we go. But for now, this is okay. We're getting an array, and then we have type options coming into the property. What we'll do now is pull in that and use it in our select thing. So we'll do option v4 option as type options. No, type options as options, or as option. And we'll pop in just the option here. Oh no, I'm trying to do handlebars. We need to bind the value to option, and the name also needs, so I think it's like text is option as well. We'll see if that crashes and burns. It did. What went wrong? Invalid v4 expression, type options as option. Okay, how do we do v4? Clearly I've forgotten. Let's see here. Template syntax, v4. So v4 item in items, not as. Here we go. Option in type options. Let's try that. All right, that succeeded, and we'll refresh. Okay, still not great. So now it's just rendering out this as literal HTML. It's probably because my source code is such. So if we go to type options, yeah, it's breaking the code. Trying to think about how I did this. So maybe if we wrap this in single brackets instead of double brackets, this just feels gross, but it's okay. It won't break. Okay. Getting closer. Now we've got all this stuff. Wonder what's happening there. Let's console.log out our type options. Looks fine to me. It's an array. Maybe I'm doing something wrong with each of the options. So if I return to that select field and I do option v4 option and options, type options, I'm doing value option text option. Let's go check out the docs for rendering lists. I'm sure there's a select field option in here. Let's see. Range component. Okay, key is item.id, my component. When using a v4 with a component, a key is now required. That's interesting, but not related. Let's see if we can't find a select somewhere in these docs. Not coming up for me at all. Do this. v4 option and options, vbind value with option dot value. I'm not sure because the option object itself should be just that string, since it's kind of janky how we're doing it. So I'm not sure why. Let's just inspect this, I guess. We can always check. Oh, it's breaking everything up into... That's funny. Oh, man. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's breaking everything up into individual alphabetical letters in that string instead of it's doing a for on a string instead of an object. So how can we cast this array into a this PHP array into a JavaScript array once it's passed as a prop? Gosh. I don't know. Let's Let's look at the source code again. We have adult dog. See, this is the fun part about trying to just figure out how this stuff works with WordPress. Another way we could do it is just pass it to a script function on the page, but that feels kind of weird, and make it available to like the global scope. I've done this before. Let me hop into another project, and this is another thing that I tend to do a lot, is just check out how I'm doing this sort of stuff. In fact, maybe I already have it open. I do. Let's check out one of these components I've already built. Maybe in here. Nope. Maybe in here. Somewhere where I'm passing properties to a component with an object. Maybe it's here. I can check out panel. Nope. There we go. So this is using PHP Blade inside a Laravel app, but we're doing just a data property. Okay, so then maybe that's an initial problem. I need to pass it as like a bound property. I don't think this is going to fix it, but who knows. Nope. Next thing is that I need, let's see, how did I do this? Let's see if I can actually just load this up. This is inside a gosh, I'm gonna have to remember my password for this. Okay. Inside a dish. And just confirm this is inside dishes show. So I'm showing dishes. Let's inspect the source on this. And I'm passing some stuff to the what? To the blocks component. Not in here. Okay. Okay, so what it's doing is it seems to be passing it in like that, which is super interesting. It's doing a single bracket by a quote mark. So it's probably like HTML encoding some stuff. It's really doing some work there to make it passable. And I wonder what the equivalent of that in WordPress would be, honestly. Maybe is HTML encode, entity encode, or HTML entities a function that we would want? Let's try it. Okay, so this looks a lot closer. There's an array, and it's doing the end quote thing. Let's refresh our page. Still not there, but we're at least getting this stuff, which I didn't think we were rendering anymore. So now it is passing in the correct stuff. Hey. And what's wrong? Why isn't it showing? Oh, because I'm just doing text. Maybe there's an inner text sort of thing. Let's check out that. I guess you can just render it in with double brackets. I was wrong, so I'm just gonna do that. Option. build has failed for some reason. What's wrong? I'll try rerunning my build tool and then refresh. Okay, cool. So now we have our actual options in there. Let's go ahead and instead of setting it to default, maybe we can say this the type is going to equal type options dot I could do 0, see if that works in JavaScript. It's a whole bunch of confusing. Nope. Hey, that worked. And then I can change it and type in my credit card number, and everything is passed in. So this is getting pretty close. Next would be kind of routing something up. It's pretty easy to pull in like a Ajax library like Axios or wire up jQuery or do whatever you want, but maybe we'll take a step back and think about how we're going to obtain this data in WordPress. Is it going to be in a plugin? Is it going to be in a theme? And how we're going to process it. And then I think the big question mark over my head now is how to use the WooCommerce API to process a payment without going through the checkout flow. That means bypassing all sort of account stuff, essentially just creating an order object, populating it with what the order has, calculating the total cost, and then essentially hitting order save or order process, part of which is sending it through a payment gateway like authorize.net. And then hopefully everything's recorded for reporting purposes and email receipt purposes and all that stuff. Final thing would be handling like a success message, which would be fairly straightforward. Once we get a request back from the server or a response from the server saying how the request went, we can just pop up a nice green success and then clear out the fields and that sort of stuff. So I think that was fun. We got some stuff done tonight. I'll be sure to do another one of these so we can actually do some communicating with the server. See y'all later.